Good evening. So how many of you want to live an extraordinary life? Say aye. Awesome. Let me see a show of hands. How many of you have seen The Secret or read the book? Woo! Thank you. When I asked myself, how can I contribute to your lives the most? What came to my mind is maybe to share a bit of myself with you and a bit of what I've learned the last 27 years about The Secret, the law of attraction, but there's much more than that. The Secret is a phenomenon that swept the world, and it's just a part of a much bigger story. I'd like to share some of that story with you. We actually are not going to talk about business today, but we may talk about some of the philosophies behind what you need to think about, feel about, and do in order to earn the income that you want to earn, to have the relationships of your dream, to have the spiritual connection that I believe each one of us wants to have with whatever it is that you create in your life and whatever you believe is God in your life. If that's the case, let me see a show of hands. Absolutely. Life is so much more than just money. But let me take you on a journey. I'd like to take you on a journey. I'd like to read something to you that a 22-year-old man, young man wrote. A 22-year-old man wrote. It goes like this. If we can get the first slide up, I'll read this to you. You'll see a picture of this. It says, I will retire at age 45. My financial net worth will be $3 million. My goal 5 years from today is to earn or to have $300,000 in net worth by the time I'm 25 years old. Then my plan for achieving this will be to buy a home with a $30,000 deposit and continue to invest in real estate. Then it goes on to talk about the purpose in my life. And I go to talk about my financial goals a year from now, and then career goals, and then physical goals. Now, why am I sharing this with you? Well, I'm sharing this with you because I wrote this in 1982. Now, that may not be important, except I wasn't supposed to succeed. I went to grade 11 high school. They told me that if I didn't graduate, I wouldn't amount to much. And when I left school, the only people happier than me were my teachers. But here's what happened. I went to a seminar, a workshop just like this, but there were 9,800 fewer people. There were about 200 people in the audience. And the gentleman that was teaching about universal laws and the law of attraction and the power of the conscious mind and subconscious mind fascinated me to the point that for the first time I was willing to learn. I wanted to know more about the universe, about how this magnificence operates. And I wanted to know why he kept saying that I could have whatever I wanted in my life. So much so that I bought his goal-achieving program that I couldn't afford and started to write out my goals. I started to write everything out in the way he explained I should write it out, in the positive. And I asked, why should I do this? He said, because as soon as you write it out and as soon as you put a date on it, you're sending a message to the universe, but more importantly, you're giving your brain an instruction for what you want versus what you don't want. I thought that made a lot of sense. So I started to set goals, but more importantly, I started to learn the art and the science of achieving goals.